is the book of Job, chapter 39. I'm going to start at verse 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich? Now, when you talk about he, it's talking about the Most High. Verse 14, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in dust. So when it talk about what creature leaveth its eggs in the dust, it's talking about the ostrich, and it's basically referencing the ostrich to the Israelite woman. Verse 14, Salakia, verse 15, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. And when you go into actually researching about the ostrich, is a cruel bird, to the point it's cruel to its very young. And it talks about the curses in the book of Deuteronomy about how the woman I will be evil against her children and her husband. Roughly paraphrase. So, uh, it says, verse 16, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. Verse 17, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, all glory to God, Loyim, La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem, Erchakodesh Vakatam, the honest apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh South out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I came across this article on Newsbreak a couple days ago. Just not getting the opportunity to do a video on it. I haven't seen any brothers speak on it, touch on it. And like I said, came out with the scripture because, just go get to the article. And this is in my state, or our state, the brothers GMS Cleveland State. It says, Ohio kids found dead in aunt's car trunk. Cops say they were starved for months. And that's why I started out with that scripture about, in the book of Job, about so-called black woman, or the Israelite woman, being cruel. These ain't exactly her kids, but flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. You know what I mean? So you got people that tend to have sympathy and empathy for a child that's not even their own blood, let alone the parent or the family member, and see the cruelty of her. You know what I mean? And in actuality, I ain't trying to make it seem like anything, but she kind of looked familiar too. But anyhow, when I seen the title, I haven't read the article at all. I'm about to try and read it now. It made me think of a few scriptures. Lord's willing, if it's edifying. It says, Lord willingly, this is edifying. It says, Ohio State News by Midwest crime and justice reporter Ken Fulton. Cops say Ohio brother and sister were starved for months before their little bodies were discovered in the trunk of their aunt Nicole M. Johnson's vehicle in Maryland. So she from Ohio, but ended up in Maryland. The shocking discovery devastated officers responded to the scene. And I'm sure it was grisly and devastating. And to show you how, I don't know if she was torturing them or if she just lost her mind. Because, like I said, during this pandemic, a lot of people lost their mind. Like I say, the psychological damage that Esau has done with this is brilliant. And you psychologically damage somebody before you actually take them to war. I was just recently incarcerated, and I was looking at literally like how our county jail processes the cases now. How you sitting in there for months, and that'll break you. You know what I mean? It's funny because a brother said something along the lines, and I was just perceiving through the spirit that how tough and rough and hard times is right now. Ain't nothing wrong with you not going off. If you're not breaking the law, statutes, commandments, but at the same time, you got to be developing. You know what I mean? Like, especially for a person that don't really. I mean, we all catch hell, but you know what I mean. We can all admit that some brothers seem to be catching more hell than others. I was just speaking with a brother about that. And if you ain't developed no kind of thick skin, what you gonna do in that day? I was just recently locked up, and like I said, the way that they got the system set up in there now is you had these tattoo super homo. I ain't gonna say super homo thugs, but super thugs. You know what I mean? Just they whole life is devoted to being a nigga, and literally they was breaking because like I mean, I've been going back and forth to jail for like a lot of my life, so to literally watch this shit, you know, like it's like wow, and I don't think I would have made it through it without Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Matter of fact, I know I wouldn't. You know, he set up the situation perfectly for me. So, but you know, at the same time, I just imagine a super thug. I mean, they got to design either you gonna be prepared to cop to whatever they gonna give you just to get up out that county, or it's only two ways you leave it. You pay your bond, or you go beat your case, or you go literally cop to whatever the fuck they try to charge you with just to get up out of there. And you got people do. I watch people go to the whole literally just because they've been in there for 6 months, and literally their case still is just going on. And by law, by their own laws, by Esau Edom's own laws, after 90 days, if they ain't got your case indicted and whatnot, they got to throw it out. But they saying because of the pandemic, they not no longer doing speedy trials. When I first heard that, I'm like, wow, you know, you're like what? So they just blatantly telling you they're not even going by their laws. But it made me think of a scripture, because you know, this woman riding around with dead bodies in the trunk, you know, and that's just some foolish, simple shit, you know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, the book of Job said he has the proverb of wisdom. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 9. Point is 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. When you go into that word clamorous is loud. Who is the loudest woman on the planet? The so-called black woman. And when you go into like what Esau did with that, when you go back to slavery and how they did the buck breaking, and you know how they would basically take the biggest slave and basically destroy him in front of the household, you know what I mean? So it would not only break all the men, but it would break the women. And then, you know, a woman, you know, basically is emotional. So say for instance, she had a male child, she's gonna do whatever in her mind to keep that and protect that child. You know, that's why you got these mama boys now. Like Baby Boy. That was the perfect because I did not like that movie when I first saw it, but after watching it multiple times and you know, because I didn't like John Singleton like that, but you know, after watching it and you know, it made me understand. I didn't grow up about a woman, and then yet still I'm still emotional, you know, because anger is emotion. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you supposed to be able to rationalize. Animals don't rationalize; they instinctively attack shit. You know what I mean? You supposed to be able to rationalize. You're supposed to use logic. You know, like Spock off of Star Trek. But anyhow, after watching that, like I said, he was emotional. You know what I mean? Like he doing all this, you know, and it's just showing you the plight of our people. You know what I mean? That was a after you really sit back and really watched it, I was like, oh wow, you know. But a clamorous woman is a loud woman. Salakia for all the digression. It says she is simple and knoweth nothing. That's some simple shit to, like I said, literally leave the dead bodies of the children. I mean, but ultimately it was all the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know what I mean? You know, it tells you in the book of Proverbs about how the Most High direct the steps of men. Back into the article, it says, Salakia. It says, say Ohio brother. The shocking discovery devastated officers responding to the scene. 7-year-old Jocelyn Johnson and 5-year-old Larry O'Neill were discovered during a traffic stop in Baltimore County, and that's just spiritual. She was just getting traffic stop. She was just getting stopped, you know, for some traffic shit. The children were transported to the office of the chief medical examiner driver. The vehicle was taken into custody. Starved for months, when Jocelyn and her little brother's bodies were found, they weighed 18 and 21 pounds. Doctors say that children had to suffer malnourishment for several months to weigh so little. Baltimore County Police arrested and charged 33-year-old Nicole M. Johnson with multiple charges, including first-degree child abuse that resulted in the death of a child under the age of 13. It says, police heartbroken by deaths. Baltimore officers were devastated by the discovery. This truly was a devastating incident, one that not only shocked our community to its core, but significantly affected our patrol officers. forensic technicians and detectives. Baltimore County Police Chief Melissa um, Hyatt said, "I am grateful that the harrowing details of this case were thoroughly and quickly uncovered, resulting in an expeditious closure to this tragedy. I want to commend all of our Baltimore County Police Department members who worked tirelessly throughout this investigation to bring justice to these innocent young children." Says the siblings attended Dayton Public Schools in 2019, but their mother moved to Maryland and placed them in their aunt's custody. And that's a sad story, but it's all part of the curses. Um, you know, and I got a few more scriptures. What I mean, at the end of the day, and that's why we need deliverance from this place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just really, like I said, the scriptures in the book of Matthew, chapter 24 says, because of iniquity abounding and the love of many waxing cold, roughly paraphrase. It says, verse 3. And when I was speaking on how foolish and simple a woman is, like take for instance the account of Job, you know what I mean? When just showing you, like I was just listening to who just did that video? It was one of the brothers or the elders did a video talking about like basically we coming to the wire, and a lot of men that got women in this truth, you know, and not to say all of them, but put it like this: we all gonna catch our hell. So what I mean, people think because they can't make a fucking car payment, or what I mean, that's hell. Trust me, but it's not the same degree of hell as what I mean. Like you got brothers that really catch hell, and your hell might not come until we actually going through persecution. You know what I mean? I forgot what Elder made mention of it. He said you're gonna have a lot of brothers that they women gonna lead them during this time. We coming to the wire now. They already sitting up here doing it where they about to start affecting these benefits, these jobs. It's one thing to be a righteous woman when shit going good. Let's see how righteous you gonna be when shit going bad. And that's just the truth of the matter. And I mean, only the Most High know a woman or a man's spirit. What I mean? You could be super Israelite in our face, did a super nigga behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like, how many elders of other camps, like the elder GOCC. I mean, he popping women in the congregation like he Joel Osteen or something. So, what I mean? Like at the end of the day, that's why it talks about the pastors and how they gonna be punished for the wickedness. They look at the sons of Eli. You know what I mean? But Salakia for the digression, it talks about in the book of Job, showing how simple and foolish a woman was or is. It talks about how, well, I'm gonna just get the count. Job chapter 2 verse 9, because this is after Satan, I guess, asked permission, and Most High allowed him to touch Job. Job got the bulls and whatnot, so he's sitting there, he all low in the spirit, and then Lord and behold, show you how Satan come. He attacked him through the woman. You know what I mean? This nothing that it says. This said his wife unto him, "Dost thou still retain thine integrity?" Because throughout the story of Job, Job maintained his integrity. I was reading when I was incarcerated, and I was thinking, I'm still trying to get an understanding of what did the Most High, because Job never cursed the Most High. He complained, he begged for death. You know what I mean? And as I'm noticing, I noticed a few accounts of certain men in the scriptures begging for death, from Elijah to Job. So, somebody else too. But point is, he begged for death. But I was wondering why the Most High lightweight is the Most High lightweight, check Job. But it says, doth thou still retain thine integrity? Curse Yahweh and die. And that's just showing you the wickedness and simplicity of a woman. But to show you how much of a demon she was too, because she literally knowing if Job had cursed the Most High, he would have died. But he said unto her, "Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and shall we not receive evil?" And I remember the first time I actually heard that, I was still in the world. I was going through my testimony. I was in a shelter type of thing, and we used to have these like round table type of things, discussions, how we start off our day. We just get to, what you're going through, what you're trying to accomplish for that day. And, it's supposed to be a Christian based place, but yet still everything outside, all the nigga shit going on in it. But long story short, it was a guy there, and he said that he was like, the Most High God is balance. That was the first time I heard it, and it was something spiritual about it because when I heard it, it just resonated. And you know how like Goldilocks is like, this bed too big, this bed too. This was just right. It just felt just right. I'm like, wow, there's something deep to that. And then when I came into the truth, and then reading the book of Proverbs chapter 11 about a balance. The Most High God is balance. You know you not all good and all evil. You capable of both. So why wouldn't your Creator be? And that just make all the sense. If the Most High God, how Christians explain it, Most High God is all good, that doesn't really give you a fear of the Lord. When you understand that the Most High God is the same one that is allowing your hell and your torment, that gives you fear. You know what I mean? Like there's a video I did in the past based on that movie, A Bronx Tale, and the young guy is based on Robert De Niro's life. And long story short, he had asked the mob guy, he said, would you rather be loved or feared? And he said, I'd rather be feared. He said, because fear lasts longer than love. When you read the scriptures and look at the account of after the Most High God flooded Egypt, or well, with the Red Sea and rescuing the children out of Egypt, the other nations heard about that and feared. Fear is a powerful tool. It is love. I have a person. You know how many people have snake people over love. That's why they'll say how family will cut you closer than a nigga in the street. A family member will look at it like you ain't gonna do with so much to them. You might beat their ass, but you ain't gonna take their life. Salakia for the digression. This is the book of what am I looking for? Salakia. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, starting at verse 26. And I find more better than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets and her hands as bands, whoso pleaseth Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So at the end of the day, especially a lot of women of our nation caught up in this system and trusting in the system more than the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, trusting in the system more than a man that trusts in. Because it tells you the order of the Bible, or order how the household order is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the Most High, Yahweh Shah, the man, then the woman. You know what I mean? But that's not the case in America. A man that's basically holding on, because you got to be ready. I just watched the brother. That's the name of the video. You get ready to lose things. I think it's by the brother Bakar Moth. He was like, yeah, a lot of women gonna leave they dudes, and at the end of the day, you better have in mind that the Most High could take everything. That's what, again, the book of Job show you, that the Most High he took everything from Job, but because he maintained his integrity, he gave him everything back double. He gave him back all his kids. He gave him back probably the same spirits too. I mean, of course, them was different kids, but he had 10 more kids. I think 7. I can't remember how many kids. I think he had 10. I think he had a perfect number. But I know all his livestock, cattle, and all that other stuff, he doubled. But he got back all his children, because he maintained his integrity. It says, and like I said, because a lot of our women are joined on to this system, she is a snare. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, speaking for myself first and foremost, like I got entrapped trying to have my family the way I think it should be, as opposed to, see, that's one thing I learned about being in this truth too. And the brother tried to tell me that too, but sometimes we tend to look at it. That's why I made the statement about apply the scriptures, not what a brother say. But what the brother did tell me was the truth. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you got to be. We're servants, put it like that. And a servant doesn't buck up. A servant follow orders. You know what I mean? So the orders is the scriptures. You trying to like come in some other kind of way or go up some kind of other way, or you trying to, like, the Lord might be doing something. He might take away your family for a purpose. You know what I mean? I just recently was incarcerated. I see that now as a purpose. I used to complain about it a lot. The elder just did a video about it. When you catching that hell, you like, oh, please, get up off me. You know what I mean? trying to run to the bottle, trying to run to some kind of escape, but yet still, I mean, sometimes, like the one brother from Texas said, GMS Houston said, literally, sometimes you got to put the bottle down and just pray. You know, I see the purposes behind a lot of the moves that the Most High made in my life. So you know what I mean, like at the end of the day, a servant obeys. It's not about like how Yahweh Shah said, he was the ultimate servant. He said, "Not my will be done, but your will be done." Roughly paraphrased. And servants is not about their will or what they want. It's about what the Most High Yahweh about Shem Yahweh Shah want, what he like. Uh, this is the book of Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25. The book of Ecclesiasticus is the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And there's multiple scriptures that go about how a wicked woman can gad abroad, and because they don't look at it like they sin, especially the way that Esau set up this system. I was watching a video, and it was a female on there, and basically she went on a podcast and literally said she had fucked 50 at one point in time she was fucking 50 guys a night. And it's a guy I watched named Chisel Adonis. He's like a comedian. He is a nigga. I mean, 2/3 all day, but he was offended. And then she literally said, like, I think she got a fans only or only, whatever the fuck that shit called. And literally, she was like, she making 50,000 a month. Do you understand what she, you know what I mean? So she's getting rewarded for being a slut, a nasty, you know what I mean? Like, this is not a woman that you would, I don't even, I mean, like some brothers say, the body count. I don't even, I mean, you'd be surprised what you done lay with, but, you got professional prostitutes that probably ain't got that. That's what I said. Somebody, my brother said that one time. He was like, shit, it be some of these motherfucking clucks and berries that'd be more cleaner than some of these motherfucking females that you think, because these women, I'm talking about these wicked ass women. I mean, a righteous woman, like the book of Proverbs talk about, is a totally different thing. A righteous woman will be a comfort, you know what I mean, as opposed to being a headache. Uh, but her wickedness it says all wickedness but little to the wickedness of a woman, because like I said, at the end they come on, like for instance, we was just talking about this, like right now our county jail is filled with more domestic violence cases than any other case. And when you understand the law showing you how wicked this shit is, she could literally say that you was at a place that you wasn't, but based on her word, they'll come get you and arrest you. Now you may get bonded, you know what I mean? Like however it might work out. I'm not saying you're gonna be convicted of anything. People don't understand what sometimes you have to sit back and be quiet and listen. But at the end of the day, like that's some wicked ass shit. I remember I was locked up with one guy. He was like basically his baby mother. He said baby mother. I call mine, even though she a demon. Sometimes I call her my children mother. You know what I mean? Like I give her that much respect because she laid on the ground with mine. So yeah. So as much as wickedness she done did to me, that also at the end of the day, a lot of the reason why I went through what I went through is because I didn't walk with wisdom. I didn't make the right choices. You know, I can't. I gotta blame myself first and foremost, because if I applied the scriptures in all those situations, I wouldn't have went to jail. But he was saying how literally he'll be one place, she'll get mad at him, call the police, say he did something, they'll come get him, take him to jail. She'll never come to court, so he'll have to bond out. He wouldn't probably be in jail because he was in the street. He a nigga. But I was like, you a better one than me, because like I said, I still deal with mines after going to jail and all that shit. But at the same time, I was like, well, damn, though, you playing in the street though. Like you literally, that made they can come for that shit, but you could have some other shit, and then now you got a real case. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, but that's some wicked shit. You know what I mean? Like, show you how I set up this. I remember when I was at welder school. Literally, I was told by the welder teacher. He said the freest people in America is the so-called white man and the so-called black woman. I remember Elder Malcolm brought out a account. He said it was an old Negro Jake. He had been in slavery. I forgot what year it was, but this was like, I think he was like in the 80s or 90s, and somebody did a basically like an autobiography, or took his, not an autobiography, but literally like took firsthand account from him. of how it was like. And he was literally saying how it wasn't just when they got to the plantations. It was like our women was already siding with them because they was raping them on the boats. People don't even understand that, Most High code. So it says all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Now, I'm gonna end it with this. What is this? Yeah, I got that one. I mean, uh, I'm gonna end it with this. This book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 20. Because at the end of the day, all these wicked women, again, not all women, the brother, our head was just talking about that. He was like, it was a female, I guess, that subscribes to the truth or the doctrine of GMS, and she had a dream, and literally, she said that in the dream, me and the GMS came and saved her. Where basically, you had these niggards that was about to take advantage of her, and the Most High put the spiritual power on the brothers, and they came in and put in work. They wreaked havoc. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the Most High is not going to suffer a believing righteous woman to be like to go through. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen to her. It says the portion of a sinner shall fall upon her. Roughly paraphrase. So, these wicked ass women going to get judgment. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 20. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel. When you go into Jezebel is so fascinating to me because, like you say, that bitch, that's that spirit that we're seeing now, that rebellious spirit. You know what I'm saying? These strong, independent nigga women. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just the nigga women. That's the spirit of America on the female. Cause you might have a Moabite woman. All the women that come here, once they get accustomed to shit, that's why like a lot of people that's from other countries, they get here and then they done had a set of children here, and then they start growing up in these customs. They basically go against their heritage. You know what I mean? I remember my dad was when we was in Florida was telling me about how it was a Moabite woman that literally was Americanized, and she was telling me shit she was doing, and I'm like, well, damn, that ain't how they raised. But I wasn't where I am now, and the spirit and knowledge and all that, so I can see now why. But then I'm like, damn, she disrespecting him in front of my demon. I'm like, damn, you know. So when you go with that Jezebel spirit, Jezebel was a rebellious woman. She, Ahab was considered weak as fuck because he was pussy whipped by her. She put it on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you go into her daughter was even fucking more wicked than her. She was the one that literally took, like, she tried to set herself up as a queen regent. Fascinating account. I suggest you check into it. It says, which calleth herself a prophetess to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. Verse 21, and I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Verse 22, behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into a great tribulation. And that's the point, tribulation. They about to go through suffering, you know what I mean? You have to catch your hell, and that spirit that's on these women of rebellion is going, what I mean, it may leave them, you're going to have people, I mean, look, well, like you kind of left them during the lockdown. I can say that for a fact. I remember when the lockdown happened, my demon, she was up there terrified. And then as soon as, like, she saw people could move around and shit, she got that little rebellious spirit back. And now it's like it's 10 times worse. That's how you know this thing is spiritual, because it's like, motherfucker, what was you doing when everybody was, I mean, like, I watch people, like one of the brothers was sitting up there saying, he was like, my mother was all worried when they locked everything down. When they opened everything back up, she wouldn't took the jab and say she taking double jabs. I'm like, wow. Lord code. So, I'm gonna end the lesson there at the end of the day, because it's a reward. It tells you in the book of Revelations about how Most High, when Yahweh Shai come back, he's gonna have a reward. Meaning, a reward is not always a good thing. You know what I mean? Like a reward. I forgot what the word go down to, but basically, you could be repaid. I think it's repaid, to be repaid. So your reward could be something righteous or good, or it could be something wicked. You know what I mean? It depends on what's the word? It depends on the works that you put in. You know what I mean? What you done did. What you know what I mean? That's your reward. If you was a wicked ass nigga, you go get a reward for a wicked ass nigga. And if you was a righteous man, you go get a righteous reward. So your reward might be death, and your reward might be salvation. So, like Moses had told the children, I put before you life and death. Choose life. So with that, I'm in the lesson. Lord willingly was edifying. I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to call Loyum La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Chakadas Wakatham, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and Yakim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying video. Shalom to Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Malaf Shalom.